Hello everyone, it's Callum at Repair Wins. I've got another video for you today. So, I'm sure you've all had the dilemma where you've tried to create a bootable USB and realised that you can only have one ISO on there at a time. So you might have Windows 10, you might have Windows 10 Internet of Things, maybe Windows 11, Ubuntu, Debian, MX Linux and all those other ones. So the question is, how do we have one USB drive that holds everything? And the answer is in that 6-letter word right there, Ventoy. You do a search for Ventoy, hit downloads. You'll go and download the Windows version if you're on Linux. You'll download the Linux version if you're on Linux like I am. I think I just said you'll download, you know what I mean. So I'm going to make sure I choose linux.tar.gz as opposed to a live CD. So I'll choose the Linux one. And that's going to download. And I'll throw it in my documents folder, and I'm just going to hit save. And then I'll open this. Right, as mentioned, then I've gone to my document, so I'm going to right click, I'm going to extract, I'm going to double click, click again, and then I'm going to right click Ventoy GUI x86, I'm going to go to the properties, and I'm going to make sure it's executable. If you're wondering why the software is in Spanish, by the way, don't, but just follow my instructions and you'll be okay. So the next thing we're going to do is, I know on Ubuntu you can just right click and hit like run, but on most distros you can't do that. So just right click here, open a terminal. You may have to go up to the top and choose one of the options in the toolbar if you're not using the same file manager as me. But you'll just open a terminal, then it is literally just ./V and you can hit tab. Ventoy, and then obviously because there's a bunch of different ones, it makes that noise. So I'm going to type in G for GUI, hit tab again, and then we're on the x86 version. So .x and then tab again. Hit enter. It's going to want my password, and my GPU's failing, so it's just all broken. But I'm going to return that soon because I didn't buy it that long ago. But give it a moment, and you'll see that in no time it's launched. So my old USB drive is faulty, I've gotten rid of that, and I've chosen a different one that actually works. You go to the options here, make sure secure boot support is enabled. There's a few rare cases where you would disable it, but in my case we're going to leave it enabled. Partition style, GPT is what I need. And generally, it would be GPT on any computer 2015 and newer, and usually master boot record on older machines. You would basically just have to try and see which one works on your PC and which one doesn't if you don't know. But that's the sort of rule of thumb. So GPT, secure boot support. I'm just going to hit install, but make sure you choose the correct device in this menu. You know, because you don't want to accidentally wipe something you shouldn't be wiping. And if your device isn't showing up, hit option, show all devices, and then suddenly you get, your other drives. Install, yes, yes, and it'll take not even a minute in most cases. And when we're done, Ventoy's on the device. So we'll just hit accept, we'll close, and I'm going to go to my NAS. So computer related, OS. Here we are, and I just want the Ubuntu, yes, here we are, Ubuntu 24.0, because I'm copying data from a customer's machine, I'm cloning it for him, and the easiest way to do that is to boot Linux, and to tell it basically to do a clone in there. But you'll notice there's two drives, you've got Ventoy, and then VTOYEFI, just choose Ventoy. You literally right click, you hit paste, and you wait, and this is a USB 2 drive, so it's going to take absolutely ages. But that'll finish. Oh, and that speed it says it's going at, it isn't. That's just a bug with Linux. But I'm going to find a Windows 11 thing as well. So just again, electronics, computer related, OS. And I'll pick Windows 11 to demonstrate we can boot two OSs at once. Copy, Ventoy, paste. Here we are then. I've safely ejected the USB drive and I've plugged it into my customer's machine, as you can see. I'm going to switch it on and start pressing the F10 key repeatedly, and that should bring me into the boot menu. It's not necessarily going to be the same for your laptop. You might have to press a different key. It might be F12 on yours, or F1 or F2. Just Google your brand of laptop and then the word boot key. So Dell boot key, Lenovo boot key, and so on. But you can see if you want to pick the flash disk, yours is obviously, it might be called SanDisk USB drive, it might be called generic device, but whatever. You just need to click that, and then you can see it's brought us into a screen, look. And just to demonstrate, we'll hit Windows 11, and we'll hit boot. Now I'm obviously going to spare you the time, I'm not going to make you watch this, so I'll come back in a moment. Here we are, look, we're at the Windows screen. The touchpad doesn't work because this is a really modern laptop and the touchpad doesn't always work in the setup. But you can see we're in the Windows setup. I obviously can't do anything here. So all I'm going to do is just turn the machine off. And you can force power off safely at this point. It's not going to cause any damage to your machine if you're just inside the Windows installer. There we go, then it's force powered off, so I'm going to switch it back on. Press the F10 key again. And I'll just hit generic disk again. We'll hit go. And then check it out, look, I can now boot Linux as well. And there we are, just hit boot in normal mode. And that's pretty much it. So I'm going to hit try or install. That's all that you need to know though, because obviously you don't need to see me restore my customers' data and whatnot, that's not part of the video. But the point is, yeah, we've just booted Windows and we've booted Linux, both off of the same USB drive, and you could potentially put 20 different operating systems on there. I used to have one for Windows 7, Windows XP, a 32-bit version of Ubuntu, some recovery tools and so on. And then I had another one for Windows 10, Windows 11, UEFI builds of Ubuntu, Debian, other repair tools and whatnot. Well then, that's that. I apologise that you got to see my ugly mug. I apologise for the jump scare, but what do you want me to do? This is just how I look, you know? But anyway, if you found this video useful, and hopefully you did, otherwise you just wasted 6 minutes, then feel free to leave a like, that would help me greatly. Also, feel free to hit subscribe. I've got loads of cool stuff in the pipeline, electronics modding, the occasional repair, I've got a digital camera that's currently in pieces, and we've got this PC here, which I'm going to be doing a lot of cool stuff to, you know, angle grinder, 3D printed parts, that kind of stuff. I don't spend money on these things if I can avoid it. Why spend money when you can just buy a 40-year-old tool, cut a hole in the side, 3D print a cover, and bam, you've got airflow. But seriously, if you think that sort of stuff could be useful to you, then yeah, hit subscribe. That's all I've got for you today. So until next time, I will see you later.